Okay, so the last couple problems on the review. So construct, that has a different meaning than sketch. Sketch you can kind of guesstimate, freehand it, whatever. Construct simply means that you need to use that compass tool. You need to show some arcs, circles, portions of circles, whatever. And we got to get a system um, that actually will lead to the right answer. Now, here's what is not sufficient when it says construct. Even though it's the right concept, what we're trying to do is we're looking for the perpendicular bisector of A to A prime. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's assume this is A and this is A prime. All right, this would obviously be B. Where'd it go? This would be B and B prime. Okay, we need the perpendicular bisector of any pre-image to image segment. So to get this done, the line of reflection is the perpendicular bisector for any pre-image to image segment. Okay? Now, we can't just freehand that when it says construct. That implies a lot of precision and a set geometry method. But I can't do it on this program, but what I will do is I'll go over to Geometers Sketchpad and show you a little bit what it's going to look like. I'll estimate it here. You're going to draw two circles, both of them the same radius. So with your compass tool, make sure you use the same radius. All right, I'm trying to center it at A. Obviously, that's awful because I'm freehanding it. Now, whatever that radius is, you have to use the same radius and then center the compass tool here. I'm going to do my best to estimate. It's going to look about like that when you get all said and done. Okay? Now, wherever these two cross, you're going to connect, and that's going to make your perpendicular bisector. So this is going to be the line of reflection, or the mirror. Okay? And it's going to be perpendicular and bisect A to A prime. All right? So that's the concept. Let me jump over to Geometers Sketchpad. Okay, here we are. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the radius of my compass tool. Okay? Let's see. And that's going to be the first one that I'm going to draw a circle around. Okay? So I'm going to construct that circle. Okay? It doesn't necessarily have to hit that point. Let me just make it small, a little bit smaller. Okay? So I'm going to use that same radius circle, and I'm going to center my other circle right there. So I'm going to construct. This is stuff you guys will do. All right? You're going to pick the radius, and again, so then these two, wherever those two circles cross, that's going to be our perpendicular bisector. Now, you only need to do this for one pair of corresponding points pre-image to image. And that's going to be it. All right, let's go back over to the other problem. Okay, so now much more complex. If we want to construct the image again, there's that word again. Construct, it kind of implies use of compass tool. There's a difference between the word construct and sketch. Sketch is, you can use a straight edge, you can estimate things. Construct means you have to have precision. So, if this is point A, now I have to understand how a line reflection works. A line reflection needs you to move perpendicular to the line we're going to reflect through. So we have to move perpendicular to the line of reflection. The construction we're going to use is something we did last chapter. It's going to be perpendicular through a point. So if you recall what we did last chapter for that one, there's two different methods that I teach for perpendicular through a point. Then we're going to have to do equidistant. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, and again, you cannot freehand this, you have to have a method. You're going to construct, let's just assume for a second, the perpendicular line. The way it's going to look is you're going to take your compass tool and you're going to construct a circle first, centered at A, so that it hits twice, right? Now these 2 points are the same distance from A, and then you're going to do your 2 circles, okay? You know, it doesn't necessarily have to go through A. Centered here, sorry, that's way off. Okay, and then the other one's going to be centered here, same radius as you used right there. Okay, so it's going to look something like that. That's going to give you a perpendicular path. So that's the path A will take. Now we have to get the same distance away. So whatever this distance is from here to here, you have to measure that with a compass tool. You can't use like the ruler part. You actually have to put the center. You can put the center here and show that its arc is passing through there. Okay, keep going, and it'll hit somewhere over here. So that's where A prime will land. Perpendicular and the same distance away from the mirror. Now that's the goal. All right, I'll show you how that's going to look. And you got to do this 3 times. Okay, you're going to have to do it for each point. Okay, move perpendicular and the same distance away. I'm going to use a double mark there. Okay, why a double mark? Because, well, we already used a single up there. So this would say this is B, this is B prime. This one's going to be tricky. C, got to move that far away. Now I'm estimating. You are not allowed to estimate to get full credit. Okay, I'm just trying to show you what it is going to potentially look like. Okay, so you got to move perpendicular to get the path, right? Perpendicular to get the path. Then you're going to center your compass here, and then you're going to draw this big circle, and it's going to land right there. Okay, that's the goal. All right. So I'll show you in Geometers Sketchpad. It's going to be a mess. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on, but this is what we got to do. Okay, so here goes. So as I do this, I'm going to try to get some stuff out of the way. I'm also going to show you another method that I've used in the past that makes this a little more reasonable. But remember, we're going to first go perpendicular through a point. Okay? So we're going to start with point, I'll call it A for a second. Yeah, let's just label these. Maybe it'll let me do that. Display label points, perfect. Okay, so I want to go perpendicular to this line, okay, through point A using constructions. So let me get a radius of a circle that I can use. So this is like kind of setting your radius. All right, so I'm going to construct my circle. Not big enough. Here's what has to happen on this first one. Okay, I have to hit twice. So I got to pick a big enough radius from center to A where I hit twice. What does this do? This gives us points that are the same distance from A. That's the only way to be fair. We can't just pick 2 random points. Now from there, now I'm going to draw my 2 circles. You can use a different radius. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm picking a radius that is at least more than halfway between these. So I'm going to put my first circle there. I'm going to use the same radius, but I'm going to center it there. Not very, we should try to have a bigger overlap. So go a little bit bigger radius. And that path should give us a perpendicular to the mirror. Okay? Now, I'll get some of this stuff out of the way. This is a lot. I get it. So let me eliminate some of this. You're not going to do the full circles, so give me a second. I'll eliminate some of it. Okay, I get rid of some of the extra stuff. So what your paper should look like is this. This is evidence of getting points on the line that are the same distance from A, that term equidistant. Then this arc and this arc is evidence that you constructed circles that were equidistant from these 2 points, which has given us the perpendicular bisector. Okay? So that's the first piece, is to get perpendicular. Now the second piece is interesting. This intersection to here, if we construct a circle centered here, what we end up with is we land right there. Now, of course, that is the same distance from the mirror as A is. So we can say right now that this is going to be A prime. Now, it's on the perpendicular path, and it's the same distance away from the mirror. Okay? Now, you need to show all that work. You have to. This is the work involved in just finding one single point. Now, again, I know I've shown you a shortcut to this, but if you're not in my class, this is probably the way your teacher more or less wants you to do it. I usually show my students to construct a kite. Now, let's imagine we have to do that for point C and point B. Okay, that's how you would do it, and then connect the points. All right, now I'm going to show you the trick that I teach my students. This is the kite construction. It's a little nicer way to find point. I'm going to do it with point B. Okay? So what I do is I pick 2 random points, any 2 points I want, okay, on this mirror. They are not necessarily the same distance from B. What I'm going to do is I'm going to construct a kite using this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the center of my compass tool here, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to find which spot, which radius is going to pass through B. So I'm going to construct that circle. Now I'm going to center my compass here, and then I'm going to find a new radius, because it could be different than that point. So I'm going to find a different radius possibly, but it's going to pass through point B. Now when I construct this, I'm recognizing these are 2 different sized circles. But here's what the nice part is. From here to here is guaranteed to be perpendicular to this line, because what you just constructed, if you look at this is a kite construction, which we haven't covered yet in this class. This is a really nice way. In a kite, you get perpendicular diagonals, and then this one is bisected. Okay, we'll get to that. Basically, this is a shortcut in finding the image of a point after a line reflection. So this is actually how quick it would have been. This is how quick B prime is getting if you use the construction, the kite construction. It is valid. It is a method that is used in geometry, so you would get full credit. Of course, you're going to like that a little better. It's a lot less work. Okay? Let me just get some of this stuff out of the way. You cannot erase on your paper. You have to leave all these construction marks if this were the problem. But I'm going to get it out of the way just so you can see it one more time. All right. Now I'm going to go with C. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Watch how this works. I am going to pick 2 random points. One's got to be on either side of C, of course. So I'm going to pick a random point on C, on the line, on the high side of C, and then I'm going to pick another one over there. Now, what you notice is, what you've got to realize is, these points can be different distances from C. It's okay. That's what a kite does. Again, I'm going to put the center of my compass tool. Imagine the center of the compass tool here. I'm going to find the radius on the compass tool that passes through C. Now I'm going to strike my arc, which is basically drawing a circle. Okay? Now I'm going to start with this other point that happens to be on the line. I'm going to do the same thing. Center of my compass tool's here. Find a radius. Actually, you know what? I'll come way closer. So it's, whoops, I just messed that up. I'll undo that. Okay, I'm going to come way closer. Center of my compass tool here. Radius of my compass through there. Construct that circle. Okay, what's pretty neat is you know that it's going to hit C, so that's easy. If we connect to there, that's where C prime is going to be, because it's guaranteed to be perpendicular and the same distance from the line. So that's a kite construction, and that's what it's going to look like. Once you get all 3 points, you then use your straight edge to connect them, and there it is. Okay, so that's your construction for finding the image after a line reflection. Thanks so much.